Hello, my name is Glenn Wilds, and welcome to my Week 8 final project for FFT 111, Class 45942. All right, ladies and germs, safety first. Always have your safety goggles on when you're working with power tools or any kind of metal work. We're going to make sure that we're wearing some kind of gloves when we're working with the bluing liquid. Make sure that your beard is tucked back or short enough that it's not near your work when we're working with the drill press. We're not going to wear gloves or anything loose around the drill press. I tend to rip my strings out because I work around machinery all the time that I don't want to be sucked into anything, and I don't want anybody else to be. So always safety first. Make sure you're wearing clothes that if you get splashed with oil or the bluing liquid, then you're not going to really care if it's getting messed up. And if you do care, be wearing a leather apron. That's all you got to do. It's real simple. All right, take two. I apologize. I am sniffling still a little bit and sneezing. I still have a little bit of sickness going on. We still don't know what exactly it is, but here we go. The first thing is first is we're going to lay out where we're going to drill our hole. And you can get layout fluid in blue, black, red even. Comes with a little can with a little brush. It's great. It's kind of pricey, so I'm kind of thrifty. I like ink saws. They are Milwaukee's markers. And you just draw on there real nice and thick. Where you think you're going to be, we should be within that. Now, set up your caliper. You're going to move it to whatever, I already set it up for 3/4 of an inch, which is 0.75. And then you're going to use this bottom edge, and you're going to drag this tip, which has a little bit of, but you're going to drag this tip across here, and you're going to score a line. Now, take it slow. It's easy to jump off. Alright, we got that way. Oops, see? Sometimes I think it's easier to drag it this way. But, either way, what you end up with is a nice clean X of where you're going to put your center punch. And you're going to take your center punch and we're going to put it right there. We're going to give it a good couple whacks. Whack it like it owes you money, but make sure you're nice and centered at first, okay? Give it a little tap and give it a good tap. That way, if you look at that, you got a little nice indentation right in your XY for your drill tip to place on when you go to drill the hole. Alright, on to step 2. We clamp our piece down nice and securely to the table of your drill press. Make sure you elevated it and make sure that you've got your depth to where you're going to go through, and also that you have your table centered so your bit's going to go through the little hole in the middle instead of making it ding in your table. That's always embarrassing. Now, one of the things I always like to do, and I think it was my grandfather that taught me this, when you're using a drill press, you're going to want to go through it round and tighten from each spot where there's the chuck key on it. And he said that if you do it that way, and you go around, that he's never spun a drill out like on a Jacobs truck like this. And to be honest, with Jacobs trucks, I haven't. With the quick trucks where you just grab it and give it attention, I have on that. But these good old Jacob trucks, you put your key on there, and I don't know if you guys have a drill press or you have, a hand drill. It doesn't matter at first, man. Just get into it. You can find one of these things cheap. But I like to take a nice big heavy chunk of magnet. Let's see if I can show you guys. heavy chunk of magnet, I put it back there. It does two things. A, if you're working on steel, you pull it down a little bit. Helps collect some of the mill shavings back there for when you go to clean up. Or what I do is I put my chuck on that thing. That way it's always on the machine and I never lose it. One of the things that's very important is to make a habit. Make a habit and stick with it. You know, if you're going to do something one way, always do it that way. That way, especially with the machinery, you're not going to mess up. Now, I just dropped my key. So give me a second to get that back. Alright, and we're back. So, another thing is safety with the drill press. Yours is equipped with a key lockout. When you're chucking or changing a bit or any of that stuff, your hand's down near the chuck. Make sure you pull that out. It's quick, easy safety things. Again, you don't want to get sucked into this. Yeah, it's a tiny little drill bit, so don't be complacent. Now, next thing we're going to do, I'm going to put you down after I do this, but we're going to put a little cutting fluid. I normally put a little dab right on the bead. I'll put a dab on the drill bit. So that way it's kind of self-lubricating as we go. Alright, I'm going to put this up here. Hopefully you can still see. We're going to turn you on and we're going to go. You do a little tap at first, make sure that you're all lined up. And then put constant pressure until your hole is at the right depth. Alright, so we're throwing through like we want. You can verify it because I put a light underneath it so you can see the whole light coming through the hole. Now, we don't want to move this at all. We want to keep this clamped down. We're going to take that bit out and we're going to change that out with a tack. Be right back. Alright, still got our key out. There's no power going to this, so it's completely safe. Alright, we did not move this block, so this should still line up real nice with this hole. Now we change out that bit with a tap. Now, you could do this by hand. It's not very fun, and you run a chance of kind of going in sideways and doing all kinds of things. And then with a little tiny tap like this, it's real easy to break. They sent this thing with it, and if you had to use it, yeah, you could use it, but it's so much better on a drill press. Now, once you have your shop set up and you get yourself a nice knee milling machine, there's adapters you can put on there that are meant for doing tapping situations. It's called a tap head, and you can do power tapping, and you will never, I shouldn't say never, you will almost never snap a tap. But we're going to do this by hand. So what we're going to do is put this down one. All right, we're going to apply pressure, and by hand we're going to turn this thing clockwise. We're going to thread this right into there, and what it's going to do is we're going to form. Alright, I'm going to do a voiceover on this, and I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to hear me huffing and puffing out of breath. What I'm doing here is I'm putting constant pressure down on this spindle with one hand, while the other hand I'm manually spinning this spindle clockwise to thread in the tap into the aluminum. And every couple, maybe a turn or so, I'll go a quarter turn back. That way I'm breaking my chips. That way we're not clogging it. And every once in a while I'll pull it back and blow it out. And I'm making sure that we're not really gumming up, especially with aluminum. It's the worst thing for certain bits and certain taps. It just kind of galls into the steel and causes problems. So it's not the best. All right, when I'm done, when I make sure that I'm all the way through and through, I'm going to pull the tap out, and I'm going to clean it up with a center ground drill bit, and then I will be right back. Thank you. Alright, we're back. Got our hole, got it all nice and cleaned up. I cleaned up all the other stuff that was on top. And we get this started in here. Nice and snug. She goes right in. Then continue up the proper. Tell it's proper because not too much playing there. I'll get her in. ping in it and putting a fastener in a hole. Alright, this fastener is a slotted head screw. So, we know it's pretty common sized thread. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Alright, so that should be in there. That nice flat slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a file. That was too big. We're going to take one that's about the right size. Well, first we're going to take a triangle file. We're actually going to get the original slot kind of opened up. And then after using that triangle file, just to kind of get that slot opened up, we're going to put the flat file in there to make it flat again. Both sides of this. I know I'm not a good YouTuber. I'm creative when it comes to fixing things. When it comes to doing things like this, I am not the best. I'm doing this while holding the camera, so not the best. But we're going to keep working on this until we have a slot in here. It's nice and squared off. We can then, hey, look at that. Now we can start turning this out. Now, if we can't get this in here and we can't turn this out, say this is broken off, and I'm going to break it off. Give me a second. Alright, better yet, this fastener is worn off. We can't get any kind of tool to take that out, and it's flush with top of that. Now, to get this out, what we're going to do, we're going to take a center punch, and we're going to go off to one side, and we're going to hit it, and then we're going to take another punch and keep tapping gently, counterclockwise. We're going to work this all the way out. So I'm going to put you up high. Hopefully I can get you where you can see me kind of half decent. We're going to go from there. All right, now I made a mark one here, and yes, I'm going to shake you all around because I've got a bunch of clamps holding it together. I don't have a tripod yet. And then we slowly start working the screw faster round. Now, once you get your point in there, scratch in there, what I like to do is grab almost something like this. It's got a little bit of a point. Now we're going to start working that around. No, not go backwards. There we go. sticking up a little bit. I can catch it just a little bit at this point. Now we're not worried about fixing or salvaging this fastener. Once you get it up high enough where you can start to grab at it, you may be able to get it out using a pair of pliers, vice grips, something of the sort. Now, this is leaving all kinds of witness marks around here. So if this was somebody's weapon or something, you know, I wouldn't be going so gung-ho with this. You want to really protect it as much as you can. This is, you know, practice now with a scrap a couple times. And you're going to get yourself a pair of pliers. Get in there. Once you can grab it, start turning it. Oh yeah. Now, because I'm an idiot, I made this real hard on myself. Get that initial one. But, depending on how many witness marks you made, you can come back through here and polish this up. Hopefully not make too many marks. But you can see that come on, focus on the right thing. Here, focus. I need to move away farther. Alright. So, what we did is we made a little mark and we just kept going it out and say there was no way of salvaging that. But, the hole, not too bad. We'll take a little bit of sandpaper and we'll clean up that hole. And I'll be right back with the next part. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is glue the head of this fastener. Alright, first things first, going to get it down so it's nice and shiny. Finish them off. Alright, now we're going to clean that off. A little bit of brake fluid because I don't have acetone at home. Close that. Alright. Now, I also it's going to be nice and pretty. Let it all dry off for a second. Brake clean don't take a second. Vapor off. Now, I do not have Q-tips on hand. And I'm not walking in the house to get any. So what we're going to do is I poked just a tiny little itty bitty hole, and I'm going to get a clean bit of paper towel. We're going to use a paper towel because it'll work. In my opinion, paper towel is probably a little bit better because you're not going to get pieces of cotton stuck to it. Now, I'm going to apply this on there, and I can see that it's soaking on there. Nice and wet. We're going to coat that nice and evenly. Man, stuff works pretty quick. Now, if you got poor lighting like I do, I'm going to look at it with a flashlight. I think we need a little bit more. Not sure how dark this stuff gets. My first time using it, obviously. Alright. We're going to really get it on there, make sure we're getting all the sides and everything. Oh yeah. Now, water. Now we're going to let this sit, and then after a minute we're going to rinse it off, and we're going to come back and see how she looks. Alright, so pour a little bit of water on there. Obviously we're still gonna have some come up, but I think that is successfully been blued. Alright, and that concludes the final project. Thank you for your consideration. Class has been awesome. I've been more than happy with everything that they've been sending me. Mr. Spably, I think that's the proper way to say his last name. Forgive me if I butchered it. I'm truly sorry. I'm horrible with names. But I really think this was a great class. I thank you for dealing with everything that we've been dealing with, including the storms and the sicknesses and everything else. It's just been horrible two months, but this class has taught me a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.